My life is a beautiful expression. My soul and my word remain my only possession. Amidst the hatred I am sweating, and tears I might leak. My eyes tell a story like my feet. A million battles run through, yet my virtue stays true. Like the color of my skin, when it's hot, I'm darkening. 6 shades, 7 hues, 36 moons of dews. My path was chosen, I ain't choose, just accepted, divinely selected to get truth erected. And even though I'm humble, I'm never copacetic in my blocks of hair. So I keep anger under my fingernails with my trusty tool of change, cyber connection, long range. The biggest lie is that I'm lame. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. I honor the God in you, and I honor the God in me. My life is a beautiful expression. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to do what I consider to be a very important presentation. I want to get a full view of this apartment complex where I lived. It was a very tiny apartment. I'm going to move to another location to complete this, but I want you to keep in mind what I'm showing you here. That's where I lived, in that top apartment on the 2nd floor. Note the bushes down here. Now, this entire area is composed of 3 sections just like that. I lived in this first one here. The lady who rented this apartment lived up that way in a very nice townhome. She was over a lot of these apartments in that area, in this area at that time. I believe they were trying to incorporate black people into this area. And since I mentioned to her that I was a teacher, you know, she felt, I guess, safe around me. So she rented me this very expensive, tiny apartment. All it was one big room, a short hallway and bathroom, and then a larger bathroom in the back. But here, and if you know this area, there's Willie's right down here. The bicycle shop is there. Up a block is Blake's, where is a gay bar, and then of course a larger park over here. Now I'm going to grab my things and my notes and move across the street, hopefully, and find a location where I can sit and be more comfortable and think clearly to detail for you what happened to me for that 1.5 years or so that I lived over here. And at that time, again, having no idea about the cloning situation that was happening here in Atlanta and all over this country. And when you're a young man and you're a gay man, you're navigating how to be yourself. And so when I moved over to this area, I was thinking I'm going to be closer to gay people, even though I don't even hang around white people, white gay people. But I figured there would be other black men over here. And that's what I began doing. I met so many people over here. And everything was so weird. When I found a location to sit, I'm going to detail some of the things that I endured. And, I want you all to really understand that I am not making it up when I tell you that since my Kundalini awakened in 1998, I have been living a nightmare. And in fact, it was that diagnosis 2 years prior that my life was forever changed, and it still is. And I am so ready for it all to end. Now, once I tell you about some of these things I went through, you'll understand what I'm saying. My mother used to say, you have gone through so much. And, back then, how you just chalk it up and you say, well, this is just life. It's a hard thing. But now with the understanding of cloning and all the people that I have met, I now understand what was really going on, which is this incessant attack on the rising Kundalini energies and everybody, the elite, having known about this. And we have been under attack in ways we're not even aware of. And here most recently is my root chakra, which is a little better, thank God. But it has been quite a horror. Now, it's cold out here. I'm going to set my phone down. I bought my gloves. I couldn't find my winter gloves, but I looked in my trunk and I had my gardening gloves, and I need to put them on because it is cold out here. One moment. I would have done this presentation in my study at home. But Spirit said, no, you need to go to that area and show people what it is that you had gone through. Now, I got my gloves back on. Let's hope I don't hit the stop button inadvertently and in this presentation. So I'll try to be careful about that. I'm going to have a seat here, grab my notes, and I wanted to detail some of the weird things that happened when I was living over there at that apartment. I moved to this area because I mentioned to you all that I played a lot of tennis out here. I rollerbladed, rode my bicycle, a lot of things like that. And then when I moved over here, thinking that, I'm going to be exposing my book, because I was writing my dissertation at the time. I had bought about 25 to 30 books, and I would come across here to the park, sort of where I'm sitting now, and read those books so that I could write my dissertation, which ended up in my book, Chapter 7 on Kundalini, from HIV to Kundalini, Awakening the Divine Feminine Within. If you haven't read that yet, please do. As I continue to learn more and more about Kundalini throughout the years, as I endure the breaking down process coming out of this illusion, it's no ending, it seems, to all the things that we can learn. But anyway, I want to detail some of the things that happened when I was in that apartment. First of all, back then, there were what I now know to be clones everywhere. I couldn't come out of my door without somebody asking me for money, for a cigarette, for a ride, for something. And it really later became so annoying. That window that you saw where I lived, I thought it was going to be so cool to live there because you can see people passing on the street, a lot of events, festivals, and things happen over here. I'm thinking, my social life is about to pick up. But I eventually had some of those people who were over here in the park always bugging me. I would hear a pebble tap at my window at 2 or 3 in the morning, somebody calling me to ask for something. And then I also thought, living in this area, I won't have to drink and drive. I can go right up the road and maybe have a drink or two and walk home. And again, there were so many homeless people. One guy, in fact, who stopped me as I was coming out of the convenience store. He was hungry. He gave me a hard look story. He actually followed me all the way back to my apartment. I couldn't seem to get rid of him. And then I ended up leaving him outside. I went upstairs, made a sandwich, got some chips, variety pack chips, and a banana or apple or something, and came back down and gave him that with some water, and thought I had done my good deed for the day. Well, on my birthday, it was back during that time when, I'm a Levi jeans wearing kind of person. But everybody was getting these designs on their jeans and t-shirts and whatnot. And I said, well, maybe I need to pull myself up into current fashion. And my mom had given me some diamond earrings, and it was my birthday. And I walked up the street to Bulldogs to celebrate my birthday alone, as I typically am. And on the way home, that guy approached me from the front. So I thought, okay, cool. But anyway, somebody came up from behind me and slugged me and knocked me out. When I woke up, I didn't have my pants on. They had left some old pants there. My earrings were gone, and I was bloody. And I managed to... also, they had stole my tennis shoes. So I had to walk home almost barefoot back home. They had stolen my keys as well. So I had to go up to this lady who lived in this property, who ultimately was very upset that I had done that. But she allowed me back into my apartment. I called the police and all of that. But I discovered then that my laptop had been stolen by someone who I had tried to help. Now, having been a teacher and wanting to help and love these people and being spiritual and being like Jesus, always giving of myself. That's why I'm not like that anymore, because I was taken advantage by so many. Another time, I was up at Blake's, and a guy approached me as I was coming out, good-looking guy. We came home, back to my apartment. I'm thinking, okay, I may have a new friend here. And he went into the bathroom. My door had a deadbolt. You had to use the key to lock yourself in. But anyway, he went into the bathroom and I guess did drugs. And when he came out, he was going crazy. And he wanted to leave. And I said, okay, let me get the keys. Well, he grabbed my metal bar stool and he threw it out that big window I showed you over there. He jumped from the second floor out onto the ground and ran away. Next thing you know, the police were showing up at my apartment. And earlier that day, the old man that used to come and do maintenance around the place, he had come and repaired my dishwasher. And there happened to be some copper plates underneath my bed. And the police used that to arrest me. I hadn't done anything. They arrested me and I ended up in jail. And my sister had to come and get me out. And she and our relationship still isn't in the way I would like it to be. But at the time, again, I didn't understand what I was going through. These were distraction clones everywhere. And prior to even that, when I lived down the street, my car had gotten stolen. And I was riding the bus to work and I met this lady. And make a long story short, she ended up moving into my building right underneath me. And I thought that was so odd. But she eventually moved to the back apartment back there. But this guy moved into the apartment right under me. And he was like a nightmare, a pathetic kind of character. If he's still alive and sees this, I hope, he'll hate probably to hear me say this, but he was a pathetic person. He had been in the army. And here he was with diabetes. And he wanted everybody to feel sorry for him. And so here again, my gullible ass was driving him to dialysis. And it was all these black people in the dialysis clinic over there on somewhere Ponce over in there. And I would drive him to the dollar store. He had people coming over bringing him bags of food. He had an overstuffed apartment that was a rent-a-center apartment. Too much furniture for such a small space. And he was somehow jealous of me. At one time, he called the police when I had a couple of friends over. We weren't even loud. We weren't doing anything wrong. He called the police about 12 times in a 14-day period. And when the police came over, they would stand down the hall, they said, outside, down the hall. They didn't see anything unusual. They would tap on my door. And I would tell them, I think this guy just has it out for me. Well, in the understanding of the people who go into the military and coming back as clones, and also in the understanding of what was going on in this area, creating these clones to distract us from the Kundalini energies, me being enthralled in Kundalini, writing about it, all about it. And here again, someone else was distracting me. And I'm becoming so hardened, especially in retrospect, now that I understand what's really happened. Now, let me check down here at my notes here. I want to say that I hope that you all are not just watching all these presentations I've done in an Impromptu Nebthet musical. In fact, on this morning, I need to get up for a little while and stretch my bones. This morning, I listened to my initial radio interviews with Living in the Back Radio. His format was to give you 30 minutes or so or more just to say what you want to say. And because I had so little money then, and I was paying a graphic designer and learning about how to present things online to get this story out, we split that into two parts. But it was a great opportunity for me. My graphic designer, he created sacred geometry in the background, beautifully done presentation. And then that's in part two, interviewing with Kidi Awadu. Now, Kidi is a chef, and he was the world's leading interviewers of HIV descent activists. And I was so happy to have found him. I wanted to show you all the park. I have walked so many times around that track throughout the years, losing weight, getting myself in good health. But anyway, Kidi Awadu, I didn't know at the time that he and Bobby Hemmett had some sort of an issue. I later learned about that, where Bobby Hemmett had said that he and some other man sabotaged the convention that they were having. But anyway, Kidi Awadu interviewed me on 2 occasions. Well, later, as it turned out, he was going live every day on Facebook. And I tuned in one day, and he was down talking Bobby Hemmett. Now, nobody does that who has good sense. And he and I got into it there in the public comment section. He was saying, Bobby Hemmett wasn't a scholar. He's just somebody who watches movies. And I was insulted that he would even think such a thing, because Bobby Hemmett has helped all of us more than anybody on this goddamn planet. And he even threatened me when I challenged him in his own little live program there on Fuckbook. And threatened not to ever have me on his show again. But guess what? I don't give a fuck, because I had already gotten what I needed, which is exposure to this issue globally. But anyway, that's the kind of things that we're having to deal with here. My life has been a nightmare trying to do the right thing. And I'm pissed about it. I want my Earth Illusion nightmare to fucking end. Now, again, Bobby Hemmett has spoken to us about what will happen when our heart chakra is open, and these entities will come and inhabit the heart chakra and basically take over. And that's when things are going to change around here. It won't be us in physical form doing it, even though we have learned that we are monstrous souls, something completely different from these humans, how we look as humans. But that's what's going to happen. So I'm at my altar every day doing what needs to be done. I bought some London Dry Gin and Canadian whiskey. Not Miss, but Canadian whiskey. And creating a libation to call in Tiesha and Shayola to come and heal my root chakra. I've been doing everything that I can. I've taken pictures of that area and called my doctor. The recorder is going to stop. I'm going to let you all go. I love you so much. A call is coming in. Please stay on those altars. Let's make this illusion end. All right? I am Dr. Damien Q. Laster, the Conscious Dr. Rainbow Warrior, busting up bogus HIV worldwide, healing the sacral chakra. Goodbye.